Okay, now for the next step. We're gonna get the photos from here to here, and then in Lightroom. It's all one swoop. It's really nice. All right, so first off, there's a couple ways to do it. You can have a card reader for your computer. You can have you can have a slot for your card on your computer. You can connect your camera to the computer. I've never done the camera to the computer. I like to not have my camera on as much as possible. I know there is like a lifespan for the camera. Also, I don't want to like use the battery to take time to do this because depending on how many photos you have, it could be sitting here for a while moving photos. So I prefer to put it in my computer. Now, right now, um, I I just got done with a photo shoot. I have some test photos in a folder, so we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna move this stuff about a little bit more. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open Lightroom, and we're gonna go to make sure it's you have library clicked, and you're gonna go to import. And on the left, you select source. I have the card in my hand. It's not showing up, but once I put the card in my computer, it's going to pop up over here. Okay, so now this is my card. Also, the other thing I'm going to have to plug in is my hard drive. You can, depending on your computer and such, you can store your photos on your computer, but they're really big and it's never suggested to actually store your photos on the computer because it can slow down your computer and it's not good practice. So you're going to want to put it on a hard drive. And we're going to go over backing up later. But for now, I'm just going to plug in this because what we're going to do is I have to have both plugged in. We're going to move the photos from the card to the hard drive through Lightroom. But while it's moving it from one place or copying it from one place to another, it's also going to make these things called smart previews. And so a smart preview is a smaller version of your photo, like a JPEG condensed version. And it stores it in your Lightroom because your actual photos are not stored in Lightroom. So they are stored on this hard drive. But you're going to have like a preview copy that are stored in your Lightroom, and it's you're going to edit the preview copy. And there's some advantages to that now that I'll go over, but this is how you should do it. Um, you know, especially with these Aurora photos and stuff, you're going to end up with lots. You have two cameras. There's like no question. Don't put it on your computer. You'll break your computer. Oops. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up. This thing is always in the way, isn't it? We're going to set this up. So we're going to do what I said. We're going to put it on the card, move it to the hard drive. So this is how you do it. You select a source right here. The source is my card, and I made this. Let's see. Oh, I'm just going to select. There's a lot of photos on here. This is going to take a while. And it's not letting me pick I have my sample photos in a folder, but it's not letting me pick a folder. It's just downloading every single photo. So once this goes through the process, this takes a minute, we will select some and we're just going to move it. And I'll show you how to do that. There is these options, all photos, new photos, destination folders. I have found, for some reason, I have found that this doesn't always is very accurate. So, oh my, this is going to take a while. Just going to pause this for a second. Hold on. All right. I am just going to select some random ones. These are from Minnesota, and I haven't deleted them off the card yet, and I'll go over why and the process of how I do that. All right, I'm just going to select these random ones. And so let me go back and show you what I did. So what I did is I selected one, um, and you have a PC. Isn't Command and Control the same thing? Hold on. Shift. If I go to Shift, if I select one photo, oops, if I select this one and I hold down Shift and then I go to this one and then I just like let go and I can either select it or deselect it, or you could just say uncheck all. Now it's got they're all unchecked, and then what I'm going to do is just check these. So these are the only ones that it's going to actually export. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go over here. So this is the source on the left, and then you pick in the middle, and then on the right, you're going to tell it where to go. And this is really important. This is where your system matters. So we're going to go to other destination, and we are going to select my travel, um, yeah, my travel drive. And this is what I do is here's how my hard drive is set up. It is set up by year. And so I have 2020, 21, 21, whatever. And then in here, the older ones don't have, oh, these ones have numbers. I think I should have going back and doing the numbers. I guess I started in 2022. Before, I would just put like what I was doing because I didn't want to do month because I was like, okay, if I went to Olympic National Park, like, was that in July or August? Sometimes I wouldn't remember. So I would just put where I went. And like I go to Port Townsend quite a bit, so this is probably different folders. Nope, it's just one. Um, but yeah, Mount St. Helens, we went camping in November, so I kind of put a description. And so that's kind of what I used to do. But what I do now is I actually assign numbers to them based on seasons. And this is what I'm going over with this is all, it's not like set in stone. You could do it however you want. Dates, times, locations. If you go, I have actually Olympic National Park has its own folder because I go so often that in that folder, I just have like years and dates and stuff. So, you could do it however you want and how it makes sense to you, as long as you know what how you're doing it. And as long as both of you guys are on the same page. So, 2025, let me show you what I started doing. I started numbering based on season. And so, winter at the beginning of the year is one, spring is two, summer is three, fall is four. And then I go back to, there's not an, well, I think I did this wrong. Oh, well, because it wasn't winter yet when I did this Paul's bow, so that was fall. But say I did it for like Christmas, say I was like did Christmas photos or did Christmas lights between like December 21st and the New Year, I would label that five. And I know it might not make sense to you. Maybe I should just keep it four, whatever. But I would name it five because it's winter again. And so this is how I organize my folders, and I can help you organize your aurora photos when we're up in Alaska because that's kind of a different beast because it's you don't want to do it by specific. date. Like you don't want to be like January 21st because we start January 21st, but then we end in the 22nd because it goes after midnight. So I think that can get really confusing. So it took me like 2 seasons to figure out that system, and I can go over that with you. But in general, you can organize this however you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to go to my travel folder, and then I'm just going to do a new folder, and I'm going to be like the test folder just to kind of show you how it looks. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to choose this folder, and there's some other steps you're going to want to do. Build preview. You have some options here. I do standard or embedded and sidecar. You don't want to do minimal because what minimal does is it will downgrade that photo so much that when you go to open it in Lightroom, it will take a little bit for it to open the good resolution, a good enough resolution for you to edit. It kind of looks blurry, and then it's got to like upload the rest of the preview. I don't have time for that because I'm going through photos super fast, and no, I don't know anyone who does minimal. Embedded in Sidecar is that it's smaller preview, it takes up less space. It will still take a little bit of time to open up a big enough preview for you to edit. I don't actually use this most of the time either. I've thought about moving it, but my Lightroom catalog has 75,000. I have 75,000 RAWs, and on my hard drive, all of those are cataloged in Lightroom, and it's only taken like 200 gigabytes of space. So I don't know. I might move to downgrade to embedded sidecar, but probably not right now. So I use standard. One-on-one is just too big. You don't want to do it. It's just going to take up too much space. So you're going to want to click build the previews. So make sure you click that. Uh, I keep this blank. I don't mess with it because I don't know if it's accidentally going to not import a photo that I want. Make a second copy. I don't do that. I'm very picky about how I do my second copies. And so this is just a way where you're going to see what it's going to do is you're going to copy the photo, and you're going to basically copy it from the card into the hard drive, and you can make a second copy while you're doing that, but I don't suggest it. I'm kind of don't do it. That's my non-negotiable. That's one of the non-negotiables. Non-negotiable, build a smart preview. These at your discretion. I would stick with standard or embedded. Embedded is going to not take as much space, but it might be slower to load the photos. So, but don't do minimal, don't do one-on-one. Here, renaming the files. I suggest renaming the files. There's a few reasons. If you rename the files, you can rename it to your name. You can name it, if it's Fairbanks, put Fairbanks, Aurora, whatever. But it's kind of nice for it to rename the file. So if you ever have to go search for it. So that's what I suggest. So you could put the custom text here. Minnesota. Uh, you can leave the extension, you can not leave the extension, it's up to you. Develop settings. I don't do anything there. I do some stuff there, but it's just not, you're not ready for that yet. Metadata, you want, just a second, hold on. I'm surprised that's on none because usually I include the metadata. I think I usually manually include it. All right, so when you do this for the first time, you're going to want to do what I just did, which is, let me show you. You're going to go to new metadata. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to name it copyright. Wait, can't. I'm not even sure that's spelled right. Gosh, brain fog is real. Okay, so copyright name. I would put your name, maybe both your names actually. If this is like the other stuff, you're like, you can, I don't ever put that. Mostly I want my name, and I usually attach, there's somewhere where you can attach your website. So I have my website on there, and I just want that metadata to stick with my photos just for the purpose of people can like look to see, go copyright. Oh yeah, creator website. I just don't want just just another way to protect yourself. So anyway, so then you can create that, and I did spell that wrong, didn't I? There you go. Oh my gosh. Oh well. This is just an sample, anyways. And so yeah, you're gonna want the metadata keywords. You can sometimes I put the keywords in. It kind of helps it to find stuff, but it's not necessary. I would just probably skip it for now. Now, this is really important. Destination. How do you want it done? So, if you don't do this right, it can get really confusing and it will put your stuff in its own folders. And so, what I do is I do into one folder. And that is because, like, if I'm going away for the weekend, I don't want Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be all divided up. I just want like I want to be able to control and also so it's that thing when you're in Alaska or you're doing Aurora or Milky Way or whatever and you're doing if you start off on January 21st and you end up on 22nd, what it will do is if you do it by date, it will put everything till midnight and before in one folder and everything after midnight and after in another folder. And then your stuff's divided into two folders for one night. And so I would never recommend it. I actually tried doing that a couple times and I learned the hard way not to do that. So that's my recommendation into one folder. And then let's see. So that's pretty much all we're gonna do. So we're going to again go here, test folder, choose. Now it's telling me it's going to go in that folder. Um, Set up your copyright information. Every time you download photos, you can either just keep this your name and then have this clicked, or if you want a description, Alaska, camping, whales, orcas, however you want to do it, this is however you want to do it. And then what we're going to do is when we're all done, we're going to go import. Actually, I'm sorry, you should look here. You're going to copy. Do not copy as a DNG. Do not. Go to copy. Make sure this is copy, import. Now here on the left, you're going to see two actions. See two operations in progress. And so one operation is it is moving these photos from the card to the hard drive. The other operation is it is creating those smart previews. Smart previews are stored and kept in Lightroom. They are with your catalog, but your actual raw photos are here. So this will take a minute and I will pause for now. Okay, we're back. See, it says building smart previews, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. It's almost done. Okay, so I have done what I needed to do. So if I go to here, if I go to travel, and then my test folder, this is the photos that I just moved into Lightroom. And if you go here, this was empty and now it's not. These are my RAWs. And so it moved it from the card to here. It copied it. It didn't move it. It copied it. It is, those photos are still on my card until you do a second backup, however that looks. Keep your card with the photos, which is why I have Minnesota still on there. Actually, I think I'm pretty sure I actually backed up those photos, but until I know for sure, I don't clear that card. So, so those photos are going to stay on the card until I have confirmed those photos are backed up. Okay. So something to note here. So we're in the library. We're not in development. We're just in the library. I usually live in development. That's the only time I ever look in library is basically when upon opening Lightroom, and then to move photos or to get to development. I want you to see, ignore these presets here. Actually, let's go back to library. I want you to see something here. So you see that these are kind of blacked out right here. And this one isn't. This one isn't blacked out because it is connected to my computer. However, if I disconnect it, now it's blacked out. And the reason why is because even though the RAWs, I don't have access to the RAWs, they're not here, but these are the smart previews. I could still go into smart preview and I could still edit. I could still do stuff, whatever. I could do whatever I want. It's still something that I can mess with. I can, you know, it would take me a little bit more time, but I was just showing you, I still have the photos that I can edit. And so they're still there, but I don't have the RAWs connected, which is fine because you do not need the RAWs connected to edit a photo. The times that you'll need these big RAWs and stuff is if you have a big export or you're doing more Photoshop stuff. There was one feature that we needed, the denoise, that we needed the raw photos connected. As of June, Lightroom did an update. We don't need the RAWs to do denoise, so I actually don't know what. I'm sure there's a couple other things, maybe some stitching or something, but there really isn't much that you need the RAW for now in Lightroom. It's more like when you're doing some for basic editing, you don't need it. So it's kind of nice that you don't need to have this connected to your computer all the time. I want to just show you, I'm going to plug this back in and I will show you that in the library, see these have like question marks. It's telling me I can't find these folders. They're missing. That's what the question marks are. But now the question marks aren't missing, or they're not there because it knows exactly the pathway to get to these folders. It knows how to get there. Um, but let's just say something gets tweaked. This is interesting, just in case something goes wrong. Do this. Okay, I just moved the test folder And I did not do it through Lightroom. I did not tell Lightroom I was moving the test folder. So what it's going to do is all of a sudden it's going to be like, I can't find the test folder. It disappeared. It's not there. If this ever happens, say you start renaming stuff, moving stuff, organizing stuff, for one, try not to do that. But it's okay. But it's okay if you do. You can right click on it and you're going to go find missing folder. And then I'm going to go here and I'm like, oh, I put it in here. Oh, here it is. And I'm going to choose it. And now all of a sudden it knows where it is and it's living inside here, living its best life. So, um, yeah. Anyways, that is how you move the photos from the card to the hard drive, create the smart previews, and get your stuff organized. So the next step would be doing some basic editing, which I will do in other videos.